towards the end of my time in government, but long enough before I retired, I shared with the Secretary of State of America, the only important partner that can really make a difference, and of course with Abu Mazen, what is the official plan of the State of Israel for peace. And it consisted of a few major elements. One was, as I said before, the territorial issue. The territorial solution will be based on the 67 borders with swaps of territories, but the basis will be the 67 borders. At one point, Abu Mazen said, no, it has to be identical. I said, Mr. President, I'm not certain that this is your interest to keep it identical, because in 1967, there was no connection between the West Bank and Gaza. If you guys want to have a one state both in the West Bank and Gaza, you need to have a connection. If you insist on identical lines, you'll have no connection. Now, what is your choice? He said, okay, let's talk about the details. And I proposed that there will be a connection between Gaza and the West Bank, a tunnel or a bridge of about 40 kilometers. The exit will be in Gaza, the entry will be in the West Bank or the opposite. And it will be a direct connection between the two parts of the Palestinian state. So the first element was the 67 borders with the necessary adjustments. The second was the issue of Jerusalem. I need not to tell you that for me, perhaps it was more difficult than maybe to anyone else to propose what I did, which is to share the city of Jerusalem between us and the Palestinians, so that all of the Arab neighborhoods in Jerusalem will be part of the Palestinian Jerusalem, which will be the capital of the Palestinian state, and the Jewish neighborhoods that will be part of the Israeli Jerusalem that is the capital of the state of Israel. I was the mayor of Jerusalem for 10 years. I was fighting for the unity of Jerusalem. It was heartbreaking, perhaps one of the most difficult moments in my life. But when I reached the inevitable conclusion that there will never be peace unless part of Jerusalem will be controlled by the Palestinians, the choice was simple, even though it was heartbreaking and very difficult. It was simple because once you understood that this is the key to peace, you had to decide, what do you want more? You want peace, or you want to maintain the entire city of Jerusalem at any cost? And as much as I love every part of Jerusalem, I thought that for the future of the state of Israel, peace is more important, even if certain parts of what was called the city of Jerusalem, because the truth is that in different times in history, the city limits may have been different. They were never identical throughout history. At some points, they included certain territories which in other parts of history they did not. So I thought that this is a reasonable, practical, however difficult and heartbreaking solution in order to satisfy what the Palestinians said since 1967, that one day they will establish the Palestinian state with Jerusalem as the capital. So this approach gave them an outlet to this desire. Part of Jerusalem, naturally, the non-Jewish part, will be the capital of the Palestinian state. Then was the even more difficult part, which was the Holy Basin, the Temple Mount, the old city of Jerusalem. The old city of Jerusalem is important to three religions, actually, maybe to everyone. To the Jews, to the Muslims, and to the Christians. And what I proposed was that there will be no sovereignty of either the Palestinian state or the state of Israel, and that the entire Holy Basin, which was very accurately defined in the map that I showed Abu Mazen, will be administered by a group of 5 nations. The Saudis, which had historical connections to Jerusalem, Jordan, which also had historical connection to Jerusalem, the Palestinians, the State of Israel, and the United States of America, which also represents the Christian world that has serious interests in the holy city of Jerusalem. The Church of the Holy Sepulchre, perhaps the most important church in the Christian world, is in the old city of Jerusalem. Why would it be sovereign by the Jews? Why would it be sovereign by the Muslims? So what I propose is that there will be a body of 5 nations that represent all 3 religions, and that it will take charge of running the Holy Basin as a free city with access for all believers to all the holy places without any restrictions, with regulations that will be worked out amongst these 5 nations in an appropriate manner.